Hello, everybody, and welcome to another edition of Bustin' Out. We're ready to rock your Sunday, going straight off the rails as we always do, because we are the Brunch Busters. I'm Bobby Munson. That man beside me, my Brunch Buster brother, Chris Parrish. How you doing today?
I'm doing all right. How are you doing?
Obviously, I'm fired up, so got to be doing good. It's a beautiful Sunday. Waiting to just hang out and have some fun here with the chat. So again, everybody, if you are joining us in any capacity, make sure that you get all your questions in, anything you want to discuss here in the world of professional wrestling or just life in general, because Busting Out doesn't just have to be 100% wrestling all the time. We like to have fun here. We like to interact with you guys. So get those questions in and make sure to follow, like, subscribe, all those beautiful things. As you see down below, the ticker that's telling you all the ways that you can reach out to our local establishment. Andre and Melbourne Wrestling Talk. Hello from YouTube land, boys. Andre here. Andre, how are you doing on this beautiful Sunday afternoon? Glad to see you joining us here on Busted Out. And talk about Creed 3. You know what? I don't know if Parrish has seen it. I've seen it. I saw Creed 3. And I did.
I've had a busy weekend so far.
Yeah, well, I mean, admittedly, I think Creed 3 personally, from my perspective, was the best of the series so far. I think that it finally had its own voice, not relying heavily on the Rocky backstory in order to set it forward. This one finally found its own voice and it rocked. It was well directed, well written, well put together. I like it. I love boxing, and I think that there was some great boxing, some great drama. Great heavy hitter. Loved Creed 3. What do you think of it, Andre, man? Love to get your opinion on that one, too.
I will say that the Rocky theme song is my wake up ringtone, or not ringtone, but hey, I got stuff to do, bro. Hey, and you know what? Maybe I'll go see it this Tuesday. Or you know what? I have some better. Why don't I come back to our local establishment to watch you and Ed Fries host Taking Over this Tuesday? How about that?
Oh, that's a good one. That's right.
Turn it back around.
There we go. Yeah, that's right. Andre is going to be joining Ed Fries Tuesday night for Taking Over because, of course, Astrid taking a little bit of a vacation, a much deserved vacation there. She's over in my neck of the woods in London.
Maybe she's watching that soccer game you were watching earlier.
I hope not, because that's a bad example of a soccer match to be watching. I mean, it was an exciting time, I guess, back and forth action all over the pitch, but a little bit disappointing when you get a goalless game in the end. Best of the Creed movies, it enters my top 3 in the entire Rocky franchise. Yeah, a very fair assessment. On couldn't agree with you more, definitely. So yeah, 100%. Yes, I will be joining our good buddy Ed to chat some NXT. That is going to be awesome, coming up Tuesday night, following our good friend Carl Carafel and Turnbuckle Talk, because again, we got lots of stuff coming out all the time here on our local establishment. We're going to get to that calendar later on in the episode for you guys. I'm going to actually remember it this week so that, I'm going to try to have a Bobby blunderless Sunday, hopefully. Because you know what, I've been making a lot of those blunders. I'm becoming the butt of the joke here with some of our shorts and stuff like that. So, what can I say?
Yeah, and before we even just get anywhere else, I also want to just to make sure that everyone, if you have that opportunity, if you're seeing down below, there is that little logo that says Rogue Energy that has that barcode. Make sure you're checking out rogueenergy.com and use their promo code OLEPODS and save 10% off your order. I'm not even going to lie. I had a tooth pulled at the beginning of the month, and I was not allowed to have a lot of carbonated drinks or anything. And I very much enjoyed my Rogue Energy, keeping me awake and alert during those work days. So make sure you're going to rogueenergy.com using that promo code OLEPOD. Save 10% off your order and try all the new stuff, because they got all the good flavors back. Even our own Melball Collins Blood Orange is back in stock.
That's right. And speaking of Melball Collins, her and Andre are going to be going to record some Stardom stuff this afternoon. So again, Andre is out of here. Andre, thanks for stopping by, my man. Really appreciate the support as always. And again, everybody, you go support Andre and Melball doing the reviews of Stardom and other Japanese pro wrestling. Have a great day, boys. Yeah, you as well, my friend. Thank you for stopping by. We do really appreciate that. And we're going to get to our topics here, Parrish. A few things that we're going to talk about, some that kind of relying on what's been the topics of the last couple of weeks. But the first topic of the night, I think, is a little bit different. In fact, I never knew we'd be talking about this. Are you ready to gamble? Because, yes, the WWE is pushing for legal betting on scripted matches. So, this kind of came as a shocker to me. I did not know that we'd ever see the day that any company was pushing for the actual legal rights to have legal betting on their matchups. This is a scripted show. So again, this comes at a risk of, the dirt sheets releasing too much information. How is this going to sway this type of stuff? First of all, have you ever done any sports gambling with some of the legal sports gambling systems that are available with the lotteries here in Canada, Parrish? And how does this get positioned? Do you think this is something that is going to take off well? And how do you think they go about this?
I mean, if you count fantasy football as gambling, then yeah, but through the betting sites, no. I'm not a big bettor, to be quite honest. I can literally say that I've gone to Vegas, done multiple days there, and not really gambled. Have I? Yeah, but it's one of those things where, no, it's not really my thing. I tend to be a little bit more frugal with money, make sure that I'm a little bit smarter to where it goes. Also, I don't like losing it and getting angry when I lose it. So betting is usually off the table. But no, I mean, I think it's very interesting that you can bet on wrestling. As you said, it is a scripted show. But I mean, as we say in the business, sports are fake. Wrestling is real.
Yes, this is true. But yeah, I mean, it's a very interesting topic to say the least, and I like to get to know the thoughts of anybody watching along too, or if you're watching this on replay on YouTube, say it in the comments section. We're always lurking in the comments to check out what you got to say and get in on the conversation. But you know, it's a topic I did not see coming for sure, and it's very interesting to say the least.
It's one you want to bet on.
Yeah, this is money in the bank right here. So speaking
the
of that,
puns are
going to
be insane.
Of course they are. But you know what? Like I'm with you. I'm not a big sports bettor myself either. I mean, other than I've done the odd fantasy, hockey thing and stuff like that for fun with some friends that were doing one. Done them for soccer a couple times, and I think I played over under once when I was just old enough to legally buy tickets for that kind of stuff. Just out of curiosity more than anything. But no, not a heavy gambler. Again, I'm not someone who would go and want to spend money on slot machines or playing a bunch of games in Vegas myself either. I'd rather take in shows than to lose my money out to sports betting or gambling or anything like that. But maybe it gives a little bit more of something for the people that are into it. It's curious to see if is it going to become one of those things where it's like you're going to play the odds. It's like if you're betting on the guy that, we're guaranteeing is going to lose, is there going to be some things that WWE do to try to sway it so that they can make some people rich at the same time too? Like, I mean, they control the narrative. If the odds for, the underdog in a wrestling match is going to be huge, they could really tip the scales and make some people walk away with some big money by going, hey, why don't we pull that big swerve?
Well, isn't that fraud?
Yeah, I think you would imagine so. That's what I mean. So this is.
I don't think Vince McMahon is in any position to invite more lawsuits onto him. He's trying to sell the company, or maybe he already has. Who knows? There's rumors. But
he is asking a lot for that company too.
So maybe
$9 billion. $9 billion.
Man, the best. We all know this too much or too good. If you don't ask, you can't get, right? The worst people can say is no. Hey, there might
even my team Manchester United's for sale for only $6 billion.
Yeah, but did they produce the great one? Did they produce Stone Cold Steve Austin? Did they produce the Brooklyn Brawler? Come on, be realistic.
They produced a lot different than that in terms of stardom.
Did they produce the Portuguese man? Hashtag Aldo Montoya.
I'm glad you gave Aldo Montoya. I was going to give praise to the Brooklyn Brawler. I mean, shit, next you'll be listing the greatness of Bastion Booger.
How dare you talk about Bastion Booger in that sort of vein? Anyway, he is on the list of greats with Mad Mountain Rock and Mantara, right? You back off.
And what was it? The original MVP, which was the guy with the baseball suit and the white face paint back in the day.
No, that was Knuckleball Schwartz.
Yeah, but I'm pretty sure they called him MVP. Most valuable player was the nickname.
Yeah, but his name I think was Knuckleball Schwartz. Yeah. I mean, they also had the Goon, which was awesome.
The Repo Man.
I love it.
He'll steal your hat.
I still think the Repo Man should have been a part of Money Incorporated. Like, how can you not?
That would have been fantastic, actually.
Like, everybody needs a hitman.
Yeah. I mean, when they got to collect on the debts, I mean, everybody's got a price, and when you can't pay back those bills, you got to send the Repo Man.
Monopoly puns that could have been there. Just saying.
Just Ted DiBiase sitting on a big throne with a big.
Then you bring in Big Boss Man, and it's like, do not pass go, do not collect $200.
Just arrest it.
Go directly to jail. Like, come on.
Oh, and Ed popping in here. Hey, leave Barry Darsow alone.
I'm defending him, Ed. I'm defending him.
Oh man. I don't. Oh yeah, we were talking about legal betting, and somehow we got into listing
Hey, we're talking about Money
Superstars.
Incorporated, so I mean, we're not far off.
That's right. Vince McMahon's the new $1 million man, or at least that's what he spends on hush money per week.
In the words of one Chad Gable, a swoosh.
Oh, come on. Now we're on the wrong path altogether, Chad Gable.
But here's the thing. The one thing I've always at least looked at gambling on is that if you can bet on it, then it feels like what you're betting on is legit. It's real, right? Like, and if that's the one thing we always want our wrestling to be, is always more legit in the perception of the world's eyes.
Yeah.
This actually does allow wrestling to be more legit in that eyes. I can't see like the internal company, the internal wrestlers. I don't know if they'll be allowed to betting. I'm sure there's going to be very similar rule sets like on hockey, football, any other sports, to where it's part of your contract where you are not allowed to bet on this product or anything like that. We just saw like Calvin Ridley in the NFL get suspended for an entire year for betting on a football game. Ironically, betting on the team that he ended up getting traded to during that suspension. But yeah, I mean, I think we can always say like overseas is a lot more current than North America.
They're like 7 years ahead of us in every aspect.
I mean, Bobby, you and I
which is why anytime we have guests from overseas, like when we've had Dom and Tom, they've been some of the best guests and the most requested to come back here as well too. I mean, Jared has been great. Again, big shout out to Jared Fritz for coming back a second time last week, and all the best to him and his strongman competition that he's training for right now. Did you see him moving that damn tire? That video of him moving that damn tire? Holy shit, Jared!
Yeah, I showed him. I showed him how.
Yeah, he showed him how. That's perfect. But I mean, again, like Dom and Tom were big guests for us as well, tier 2, and some of the most viewed we have ever had, and everything like that, and just a wealth of knowledge from those guys over in the UK. So a big shout out to them as well too for everything they do for us here at our local establishment. And I mean, would you be tempted at all to even try betting on a wrestling card, even just once, just out of the curiosity, if it becomes a thing here, just to try it out? I would
gladly bet on an AEW pay-per-view to keep me awake for 5.5 hours.
Are you trying to set up a segue?
I mean, if it's in the cards,
we need like a soundbite, like segue, and then just go over to the next thing.
Well, I mean, at the same time, it's one of those things where I don't know, like, I don't want anything to distract me from watching the wrestling, so I'm gonna probably choose against it. And again, as previously stated, I'm just not a big gambler to begin with. So yeah, I don't know. Like, we'll see how many suds I have that night, but I highly doubt I will.
Yeah, I'd rather spend money on the drinks rather than spend money on the gambling myself too. Not going to be tempted by it. It's an interesting topic to talk about. If people are into it, cool. If not, hey, just sit back and enjoy a wrestling show, because that's what it's all about. But as we were mentioning, segues, and we're mentioning AEW, it's time to talk about some AEW. I know we were having this conversation on Friday evening, not on screen, but off air. And I said, just, the dynamic of us discussing this whole thing, I figured it was time to talk about it all busting out. Just last weekend, Sunday night, we know the main event of the recent AEW pay-per-view featured that championship match between MJF and Bryan Danielson in the Iron Man matchup. First I'm going to get it out of the way. As a whole, the match, fantastic. These two obviously know how to work really well. They know how to do their roles really well. But again, we were talking more so when it comes to regards to the finish. I'm going to go over to you first. I know you've got some very strong opinions on the finish, and we'll just kind of back and forth off that one.
Well, yeah, it was a great match. I love the fact that, and we were talking about this with Jared too last week, and it almost kind of went to what we were talking about. Going to start off some slow and going to pick up kind of in that midway point. And I really like some of the things that MJF did, like when he did the low blow, being down 1-0 in the pinfall, sacrificing being down 2-0, only to get a couple quick falls out of it to tie it up to allow himself to have a break. I thought it was really smart. Executed the pinning right after getting a fall. You don't see that very often. So obviously that was something I enjoyed, something different, something fresh, right? The one thing I didn't really needed in that match as a fan, like, is it bad? No, but I just thought that maybe MJF and Daniel Bryan, or Bryan Danielson, whatever you want to call him, were capable of not reliving the past, but I felt they did some of that throughout the match with certain nods to previous, which is fine. Like, I have no problem with like giving a homage to, the people that came before you. In fact, I really admire and respect that. It's just, I don't know. Like, to me, I have a hard time with AEW constantly always just having to refer to something happening in WWE's past, which I thought they did with MJF being in a submission, bleeding from the face. That's not reminiscent of Stone Cold Steve Austin, or the fact that your technical wizard in Bryan Danielson going into a match that better suits his style is getting outworked by the upcoming guy. That's not reminiscent of Shawn Michaels, Bret Hart. The overtime, that is what it is. But I mean, I kind of I had that pre-notion that that's what was going to happen to begin with. But the finish, MJF hits Bryan Danielson with a gas tank. And that doesn't end the match.
Mm-hmm.
MJF pulls out his diamond ring and doesn't use it. Very confused. But then, after the gas tank hit, does not get the fall. Puts Bryan Danielson in his own move. And then Bryan Danielson can tap out. I just didn't understand the need of having your babyface tap out in that match, given some of the violent nature you got to that spot. I thought MJF was in a position where the more heat he got was more beneficial. And I just don't understand why they needed the pure, clean tap out from a babyface there.
For sure. And look who's joining us from all the way overseas. It's the natural Astro Pizarro. Hey.
You comment like you're from London, baby.
It's gonna be coming up on summertime out there. I'm telling you, Yorkshire puddings. Gotta try it.
Yeah, I can't say what I said in the Slack chat on here.
That's a breakfast meal anyway, Parrish. You only do it in the
could
morning.
Be an after breakfast activity.
We keep it clean here on Bustin' Out, goddammit.
With that being said, MJF Bryan Danielson, what did you think about that Iron Man match?
Before we do,
What's up, noob? How are you doing?
Yeah, dude, caught us at a perfect time. Woo! Laughter all around. We got Astrid crying with laughter as well too. That's some international laughter right there. We took that one overseas this morning.
She'll be laughing like multiple hours in advance.
Yeah, it's Back to the Future.
But yeah, no, your thoughts on the Iron Man match? Oh, thank you.
And yes, happy belated birthday, Chris Parrish.
Yeah, you think if I get older, I get more mature. But guess what, people? I'm not a statistic. I'm an exception to the rule. You just don't just set the bar. You are the bar. I drank the bar.
But yes, MJF and Danielson again. Yeah, the match I thought was fantastic, and I'm okay with the nods back to previous things because. Oh, okay. We got to go back to this. You sure never. No, I mean, the thing is that you're that one person, like one and very few people that will like take things to a certain level, to a certain age, and then you transition to that old age where it becomes like, oh, okay, they're old, so it's acceptable for them to talk that way. You're the one that's going to carry that transition perfectly, like for the whole team here. So.
Hey, sometimes traditions need to be kept.
Fair enough. But yeah, I mean, I like the nods back to previous matches. Like I was telling you on Friday, with them being long enough away. Like when you talk about Shawn Michaels and Bret Hart in the Iron Man match, I mean, we're talking quite a long time ago now. To a lot of the
years.
Yeah, so we're talking like a lot of the people that are watching AEW nowadays may have not have ever seen this matchup, so they don't necessarily directly see those nods and stuff happening. So I find that when it's been distanced enough, like so, there we go, rocking the Brett shades this morning. I
Which
find
is so
that
ironic because
okay
I'm
with
a
that.
Michaels guy, though.
Yeah. I do see your point about them. It always being a nod to WWE, but arguably anything could be a nod to something at WWE with how many companies they've bought over the years and everything too. So it's really hard to avoid that when doing nods, and so many things in wrestling have already been done. So essentially, wasn't everybody stealing something on this show?
It's not so much a nod to WWE. It's this consistency that it's always happening. And it's just like there's so much potential and so much opportunity for them just to do their own thing. And that's, I think, where I get a little frustrated and like a little disappointed. Just because I see that potential, right? And I have no problem with the homage and stuff like that. But just because something's older and something's going on 30 years or whatever, do you have to feel inclined to do it? Or could you just try to, like, I've seen plenty of like 50, 60-minute matches from Bryan Danielson, some in AEW. Like, a lot of them are different from each other. A lot of them are similar, but I've never seen one from MJF. And that's where I was like, okay, what is this going to stand out with MJF? And I was very curious to see, because yes, this match was definitely MJF's coming out party as heavyweight champion. I think that's no question. He had a performance of a lifetime, possibly a career.
Yeah, it
that
could be a
finish
career
to
changer.
me just soured this match.
I'm with you definitely on the finish, and the way I explain it is, you could have ended it with the tank, like you said. And again, if you weren't going to do it, if you had to take it that one step further and not just go for a pinfall right after that, then okay, maybe MJF rolls Danielson over, puts him in Danielson's label lock, and Danielson then the third arm should have dropped to the mat to show that he's passed out. MJF is just beating the living piss out of him. He cannot respond. That could have worked. But the fact that you had Danielson fire up and get the crowd pumped and then tap, that made zero lick of sense. And that's where they lost me on that one. And that's well, otherwise, a great match. And it was just that small deflation at the very finish that really cost it for me. But I think, a minor hiccup in otherwise a fantastic match.
Yeah, like I don't want to like come here and just like crap on the match, but at the same time, like as someone that takes a lot of pride in the phrase, it's not how you start, it's how you finish when it comes to wrestling matches, I do believe there's a lot of legs behind that statement. Because the last thing you remember in a match is the last thing you see, which is the finish of a match. And just to be confused with why they did what they did is not the best thing for me. And that's the like I thought the match was just fantastic in so many lights, so good. And you can say what you want about the MJF throwing the water in the kid's face, but at the end of the day, you're talking about it, and it got him heat, and I love that. I feel MJF it stands to benefit from so much of this stuff. And I just didn't see why a clean win was something he needed at that point when you can just be villainized for doing dirty things again. Like sometimes if it ain't broke, don't fix it kind of a thing. But I don't know. To me, I just lost any credibility on Bryan Danielson being in that title picture for a long time now.
Yeah. Agreed. I think we're both on the same page there.
And to me, like I would have just exited that situation with like that match with the understanding that maybe Bryan Danielson still had a shot at it. But it's just not right now. So it's like, okay, you lost, back the line, here we go. You still believe. To me, I just don't believe in him being champion. And I feel WWE did the exact same thing to Dolph Ziggler, because now I do not believe Dolph Ziggler ever can be heavyweight champion material on the main roster. And I have a fear that that's where they're going with Bryan Danielson.
Yeah, and well, again, shortly after this, I think it was on Dynamite where he announced, I need to go home," and a lot of people took this right away as, "Oh my God, is he coming back to WWE?" Look, first and foremost, they're not going to allow the guy to come out on TV and say he's going home, as in home to WWE. If anything, this is alluding to him joining Ring of Honor, if you ask me.
Yeah. Well, and like a lot of the, like we see with, and we'll talk about it more, but there's a lot of inclusions with co-promoting. And if people really wanted to look back into the past of Bryan Danielson, when he was in WWE, there was an attempt for WWE to partner up with New Japan, with Bryan Danielson being one of those guys that could, unite the two. So if there was more AEW, Ring of Honor, and New Japan promotion, cross-promotional stuff, I think you can bet and believe that Bryan Danielson will be a part of that, because I do think wrestling in Japan in that Tokyo Dome one last time is something Bryan Danielson definitely wants to do.
Yeah, for sure he does. And again, I'm sure a lot of people would love to see that. Speaking of Japan, though, I got this on the list. Apparently, well, not apparently. We know that Impact and New Japan are going to be crossing universes, the Multiverse United. I'm sure if you want actual information on this, all you'd have to do is tune in Thursday nights to Making an Impact. But I just wanted to get your thoughts on this in general. Again, we've seen New Japan doing a lot of crossover with a lot of different promotions, including AEW, now going to be doing so with Impact. And I strongly believe that Impact have one of the more interesting overall rosters out there in the professional wrestling world today, mixed with the New Japan style. I believe that this will be a better crossover promotion, in my personal opinion, than what it was with AEW crossing over with New Japan. And I want to get your thoughts on that.
Well, I think we both can understand that if AEW and Impact Wrestling did two things and they're co-promoting, Impact would have stood a lot better. And that's one, execute the women a lot better during that phrase, and actually allowing Impact stars to benefit from it, where it just looked like it was just about AEW guys like Kenny Omega coming in, and then Christian Cage, who was not an Impact guy, just, but yeah, no, I like this because I think I think the one thing Impact really needs is that major star power. If it has that, I think a lot more people would be prone to like watch it as like one of the two major brands. Because there's so many good things about Impact Wrestling right now. Like, they have a good tag division. They have a great women's division. They have a lot of good stories. But the one thing they just don't have is a bona fide star. And when you don't have that, it's going to be hard to kind of get in that limelight, right? Like, even a guy like Bully Ray, even though he might be from a name-wise one of your biggest, he's not, right? Like, he's not the biggest name in pro wrestling, just not even close. But what he is capable of doing is crossing over and, bringing in like a top babyface from New Japan, having that match or whatnot, and creating those moments, because he understands how to get the heat. He understands how to do that. You do have the pieces in play here, and I think that's what I like. So whatever Impact needs, I feel New Japan can help with, and vice versa, right? Like, New Japan is trying really hard right now to broaden their women's division in the country with the IWGP women's title, right? With Mercedes Moné defeating Kyrie. So, like, imagine if you got the Mickey James involved there, if you got Deonna Purrazzo, if you got Jordan Grace involved, Tasha Steelz, like, just a bunch of different people. So, like, I think a lot of people stand to benefit here. But I really hope we see the women being used properly in this. Just give them some exposure and allow them to kind of derail this narrative. Like, and I truly think Mercedes Moné, Mickey James is going to happen through this partnership.
Yeah, hopefully, because as of right now, there has been no women's matches announced for this partnership so far. Right now, the card looks like so. We've got Will Ospreay will be taking on Speedball Mike Bailey. Jeff Cobb is going to be taking on Moose. We got a fatal four-way for the Impact World Tag Team titles with Aussie Open, who are the or they're going to be taking on, the New Japan Strong Openweight Tag Team Champions, the Motor City Machine Guns, also taking on TMDK and the Bullet Club, consisting of Ace Austin and Chris Bay. The Impact X Division title 6-way scramble. You got Kevin Knight, Frankie Kazarian, Rocky Romero, Rich Swann, Clark Connors, and Trey Miguel, and then the Impact World title match where Kushida will be taking on Josh Alexander. Still a strong card, but again, you're right. The women need some representation in this, and again, if they can get to do this one with Monet and Mickie James, I think that needs to almost highlight the show, because again, there is star power in that matchup, and I think that could be the highlight of the entire program.
Yeah, and then we can also just put that Kylan King to Impact has been impressive, especially with her heel turn and teaming up with Taylor Wilde. And that's just it. Like, there are a lot of, I want to say, eye-openers or jaw-droppers in Impact Wrestling. But the one thing there's a lot of substance, but what you just don't see is, like, they don't have as much sizzle, right? It's like the top stars have that sizzle. But they definitely have the substance. That's why they're stars, because they're the complete package. And that's where I think, give Impact Wrestling this exposure. I don't think people can deny that New Japan Pro Wrestling exposes their product very well. Impact Wrestling, there's something about them that they just don't go away. They just keep making you want to watch them, making you want to support them. And it's because of the talent that they have, and it's because of the stories that they have. Just wait till a guy like Joe Hendry pops up into New Japan, and it's just a complete changes that dynamic because of the way he performs.
I take it you believe in Joe Hendry then.
I believe in the opportunity that Joe Hendry can create for himself, because when you can have people talk about you, that's a great sign. And I think what Joe Hendry has is a capability of being a star, and he needs a platform to exercise it. And that's what I want to see out of this partnership and out of this multiverse show, if you want to call it that, is I want to see which one of these performers takes it to that next level and makes a household name out of themselves. And then with that happening, takes that star power and helps the company that they work for, not jump to an AEW or WWE, but stay and benefit the company that's making them.
Joe Hendry loves to break the internet. And yeah, I mean, again, he's made a real name for himself. He's really got people talking. And again, I've been watching him for a little while now too, and getting used to his work and everything like that, and seeing the star rise. I think that he's got every bit of talent to make himself noticed and get himself up to the top. And I think it's happening. As they say, people believe in Joe Hendry, and they want to believe in Joe Hendry. So the ball's in his court to see where he can take everything.
It's also I know we were talking about this prior to the Rumble about potentially Nick Aldis going to WWE, but I really feel that Impact or New Japan could be a really good fit for Nick Aldis right now, and I would kind of love to see him pop back up, and maybe this show is that perfect one to do so.
Yeah. I mean, I think he's had his time in NWA, so it's definitely time to move on from there. And speaking of moving on, let's move on to talk a little bit about the NWA. We're going to talk about that because, again, our good friend Jared Fritz, who's now made 2 appearances on the show, NWA official, he's going to be taking part of NWA's He's going to be taking part of NWA's pay-per-view 312 taking place in Highland Park in Chicago, Illinois. So definitely check that out. That is on Friday, April the 7th. We might be maybe doing a watch along, possibly. I know I might be anyway. Maybe you join me if you're around that night. It'll be a lot of fun. So we'd watch our good friend there. And again, Jared, also welcome back here on Bustin' Out anytime. He is brunch buster brother material for sure. He can join us any Sunday that he's available.
He's an honorary buster.
Yeah. There we go. That's perfect. But going over to the NWA now, Austin Theory has been using that term, the now, over in WWE, and the tag team, the now, over in NWA is had enough. They've sent a cease and desist letter over to the WWE, as they have actually had the rights to this name copyrighted for quite some time, and they're fighting back and saying, no, you will not be using it. Again, very interesting turn of events to see people really striking back at the WWE currently. It really seems that, maybe a trend has started where people have just had enough. And if they're going to play like this, it doesn't matter. These guys, whether they're NWA, whether it's Court Bauer with the MLW, they're going to say, no, we have had enough of the BS. We've had enough of you guys just trying to do what you want to do, and we're going to stop you from doing these kinds of things as much as we can. In the case of the now, they have every right to send a cease and desist if they own the name, and rightfully so. I think that they have every right to do it. I think it's great. I think that they should stand their ground on this situation.
Yeah, because how many times have we seen WWE do the same thing with smaller companies? So the fact that it's happened to them is just, it's karma. And they should, and I think they will. I think I think eventually WWE is just going to say, fine, cool. This ain't a battle worth fighting for. It's very simple. Just stop using it, right? And then it's fine. And I do think it, because it's one thing WWE does. They can just brush things off very easily, or that's how it seems like. So, I'm happy somebody's doing it. I'm also gonna say, I hate the fact that this is even a situation in wrestling. I know legality reasons it's a thing, but man, is it so petty that we're seeing this in general? Just people getting mad. We can't just acknowledge other things in wrestling and just enjoy it. But at the same time, legality is legality. And like you said, the NWA has every right to do this, and they deserve to have WWE stop using this name and phrase, because again, they do own it. And you know what, WWE, you've done this to smaller companies. It's your time now to taste defeat here.
Yeah, and in this case too, it actually belongs to the team themselves. It's not trademarked through the NWA. These guys were smart enough to trademark this as they were becoming a tag team. Especially now, smart decision to go and spend the money to trademark that.
Careful.
Yeah, that name that maybe we can't say on here. Unless, maybe we should just reach out to these guys. Maybe they want to be on Bustin' Out. They could talk all about this cease and desist live on the air.
I don't know if legally they can. I don't.
We'll see how far we can push them.
I don't want to get in trouble either. I just want to poke the bear.
Oh, I know. We love doing that.
The cocaine bear.
And speaking of companies and legal issues, though, right now we're going to touch on this really quickly, and then I think we'll go to a quick commercial break. We'll go to the calendar, and then we got some more things to talk about once we get back from that as well, too. But again, we've been touching on this the last couple of weeks, and Pop Smokes and I did a big talk about it on Thursday night. I just want to briefly touch on the latest news that, even though nothing has been made official about officially saying MLW is done on Reels, I mean, it sure sounds like it. The announcement was that Reels now being owned by Peacock would not be allowed to allow MLW to be on the channel moving forward past the 10-episode deal that they had for MLW Underground due to the fact that Peacock's relationship exists with the WWE. But it sounds like they're still in the dark. Reels has not reached out to MLW, according to reports here, to whether or not to say that there is anything that could be in place or anything that could be done. So they're still very much in the dark when it comes to the Underground is MLW. And that is why Court Bauer did go ahead and file that lawsuit against the WWE. Again, speaking of guys who have just had enough, he feels like he said it on Talk is Jericho that this has been going on for at least 4 decades now, with the WWE just really trying to squeeze other companies, and they have almost squeezed him to the point of not being able to be in operation as well too. So MLW really fighting with everything they have to stay alive. And again, I think we said it on Thursday night, this just hurts the wrestlers more than anything.
Yeah, and it's one of those things where, again, I know it's hard to kind of comment on this because we really don't know kind of the details on this, so it's hard to kind of speculate. But what we can do is comment on our perception of the situation, and that's exactly what we're doing. In the sense of, this is just unfortunate, and I know, Bobby, like, you're a huge MLW supporter, so like you don't want to see MLW have another setback, and I know I'm a WWE supporter, and I don't want to see their name be put in these situations, and I would like to see that not happen, whether it's on their end or whether it's just a situational thing. It doesn't matter. What matters is that we're talking about it. So, like, at the end of the day, it's like all we want is to be able to just tune in and watch and support the wrestling that we love without any issues. And there's a time and place to control the market, and there's a time and place to just understand you don't have to beat people up in order to get there. And I think at the end of the day, like, can we just figure out how to get MLW on TV so we can watch it? And can we just figure out how to, share our toys? Because like, and you're right. Like, there's too much good talent in MLW that stands to not benefit from not being on TV or being viewable, right? So, and that's just going to hurt the company moving forward if there's no place to watch the show, because a lot of people are just going to say, you know what, I don't want to re-sign here. I don't want to sign there at all because they just can't offer me anything right now. This is a situation I just want to avoid. So yeah, it really just hurts the perception. It really hurts the word of mouth of MLW the longer this goes on. But at the same time, good for Court Bauer for looking at things and saying, you know what, I'm not happy with it. I don't feel that they're in the right here. So yes, I'm going to fight back. Good, because if you love something, you fight for it.
That's right. And
perhaps you fight forever.
Exactly what he does.
Perhaps you just have to fight forever.
And speaking of that, we're going to talk about Fight Forever in just a moment here. But first, before we do that, we're going to go to a short break. And the break will be our weekly calendar, because we got a lot of great things coming up this week from our local establishment, from all the great content creators that we have here. Stay tuned for what we got coming up this week from Hawaii. And that's what we got coming up from all the great content creators here on our local establishment. A full week pretty much there. I think Wednesday might be the only day off, possibly. Just all sorts of stuff coming out all the time here. The channel's buzzing here on Twitch, also on YouTube. Thank you to all the subscribers so far. And if you haven't done so, make sure to subscribe.
Have to say that this Wednesday is what, the 15th?
I believe so, yes.
Okay, never mind. So I was like, if Wednesday was the 16th, how does a podcasting place that loves to talk about wrestling not have anything planned on 3/16, aka Jared Fritz's birthday?
That's right. But that way, I mean, you're talking about the 16th, huh? The 16th, huh? Well, that's Ring Respect Radio Day, and we've got a very special guest coming up this week. We've got Joseph Samael in the studio with us on Thursday night, so it's going to be a big night on 3/16 here for our local establishment. So yeah, I had to get a special guest. I mean, I don't have Stone Cold, but I've got the current chic of pro wrestling. And we're talking about Joseph Samael. It's going to be a great interview. It's going to be a good time. So looking forward to that.
Such a slur, like Shark Boy. Oh, give me a show, yeah.
But you were talking just before that calendar there, Parrish, about Fight Forever, and I wanted to bring up this topic here. Apparently, Game Changer Wrestling (GCW) are disputing AEW's use of Fight Forever. I got to ask: is this AEW Fight Forever game cursed to never come out and never be released? It seems like every time they get a little momentum going for them, somebody comes in with something or something happens. Like by the time this thing is released, the people in the game will no longer, they'll be retired, or the gaming systems will be different by the time they get this thing ready to go. Like what are your thoughts on this? Is it just getting ridiculous at this point?
It seems like what's really fighting forever is AEW trying to get this game out. Like they're fighting so long just to get this game released. But my lord, like these are the little things that you should make sure that are good to go before you announce things, right? I don't know. That's just my train of thought. Like you got to always make sure the light's green before you step on the gas. But at the end of the day, it's like, yeah, you're just fighting uphill battles, or there's battles in general and it's very unfortunate because I know a lot of people are yearning for this game. They really want to play it. And the longer that this game goes, the more traction is lost from, I don't want to say interest, but a lot of people aren't going to care as much, especially if WWE 2K23 comes out and is a blockbuster hit. That's only going to devalue wanting to get that impact or that Fight Forever AEW game a little bit, because you're just not going to be talking about it or thinking about it as much. And that's just unfortunate because this is a first for AEW. I know it matters a lot to them. There's a lot of gamers in that company. Kenny Omega, who has been very much in the forefront of this video game, and I think so is Aubrey Edwards as well. And it's just unfortunate that they have to walk through fire more or less just to get this game out. But at the end of the day, I have a feeling that GCW might not be walking away with the dub on this one.
No, I really don't. Again, this is going to be a small blip, in my opinion, but what do I know? But again, I might not be the biggest on AEW, but I like video games and I like trying wrestling video games. And for what I've seen of this one, yeah, like in terms of the way it looks compared to what the WWE is doing, the graphically, it's not as neat, but I hate to use that word.
It's not as elite. Not as elite.
Not as elite. There we go. There's a better one.
Yeah.
Of course. But at the same time, it looks like it kind of has more of that fun factor gameplay, like say the WWF No Mercies or the NWO WCW Revenge games of the N64 days did. And I think that's generally what they're going for, is the gameplay fun, as opposed to having it look polished, say like the 2K games are going. So I'm, as a gamer, or part-time gamer, a bad one too, I'm curious to play it. I do want to try it.
Nerd.
Nerd. Yeah, like you don't play games. I'm going to turn that camera just slightly. But yes, I do want to try it. I mean, and again, it just seems like it's the Fight Forever has been the wait to get to even trying this game, as we got Doom coming in. AEW Fight Forever is going to be forever unless they delayed it. Yeah, I don't know. Like, just hopefully soon, and that they can just get these blips off completely. I don't get it. I don't understand it. Fight Forever shouldn't even be something that's overly copyrighted. Like, these are
chants. It was just funny because I was watching Revolution and I'm like, how much do you want to bet that they're gonna have a spot in this Iron Man match where they're chanting Fight Forever and they want to use that and clip it in their video game? And sure enough, within like 5 minutes, that's exactly what you hear is the crowd going Fight Forever, and you're just like,
yeah. And they're saying that in an Iron Man match that has a proper time limit on them. So good job, fans in the audience. You know what else feels like forever? The amount of shows that certain companies need to have on television these days, where some of them are fighting to get one. Apparently AEW is fighting to get a third one. A third show might be added on a prime slot. Well, a prime slot in terms of wrestling history. We're talking about Saturdays at 6:05 p.m. Eastern time, the time that maybe a little company named WCW used to hold a Saturday night show.
Well, I mean, when you have when you have stability on a network, this is what you're allowed to have. And that's not a shot. That's just a fact of life. Yeah. But no, I mean, it's AEW, right? I mean, of course. I mean, with TNT being there, with them having that stability, it gives them options to do this stuff. So it'll be very interesting to see what they do. They have a plethora of people on their roster, so as long as this is allowing them to use them, I don't see a problem with it. But holy crap, like, just I don't know. This company tends to do a lot, don't they?
Yeah, they do a lot too fast before they're getting the other stuff lined up and perfect. They could, work on what they've got first. But, a new show on a Saturday. So my opinion is it's unnecessary unless you're going to start to air Ring of Honor on one of those time slots. Maybe Ring of Honor takes over Rampage on Friday night or something like that. And
Ring of Honor is getting their own show.
Yeah, but you have to get it through Honor Club. You have to subscribe to it, so it's a streaming thing. I think that it would be better to give them a TV slot, like give them the Friday night slot. Obviously, Rampage isn't pulling the numbers strongly. If you put Ring of Honor there, I don't think it's going to, drive the scale backwards any more than what it's currently doing, considering the talent being used. And then you could just bump the Rampage type show off to this Saturday night one. That's just personal opinion. Again, I'm just spitballing on this whole thing. I mean, I'm curious to get your guys' opinions on it as Parrish is just taking a quick sabbatical here. We'll get back to him very shortly. But I just feel that like 3 shows of the exact same thing tends to be a little redundant. I think that, same can be said for WWE. They teeter on it. I mean, yeah, NXT is a little bit different, which is why I see like AEW running Ring of Honor would be very similar in that vein to what NXT running with WWE is. But when you start to run into 3 shows, especially shows that can run 2 to 3 hours per week, that is a lot of content to fill. It doesn't matter what kind of roster that you're working with. You just have a lot of space that you're using up, and you got to start working on getting the booking right on the other ones before you can start to look at adding a third one, especially utilizing the exact same people, the same stories and everything like that, as we welcome back the man himself, Chris Parrish.
Yeah, sorry, I ate too much birthday cake yesterday, but
it was a good birthday cake at least.
It wasn't bad. There was an Oreo on top. I did enjoy that.
Oh, fancy. You know it's good cake when the Oreo is added to the top.
Right. But yeah, I don't know. Like to me, when I see the third show, it all depends on, okay, what is this going to do? Because if you're just going to use this show as a platform for your main stories, come on. Just come on. Use this as an opportunity to I don't want to say divide. That's a wrong word, but kind of separate your titles. Maybe have a couple titles be the ones on these shows. You have a lot of titles. Like, let's kind of space them out. Space out your feuds. Space out things. Just allow these stuffs to be their own. And I think if that's the case, then this could be a very smart decision by AEW. I think it has potential, but let's see if it actually reaches it.
For sure. Couldn't agree with you more. We got a couple more topics I want to go over here, and both kind of relating to the same sort of idea. So we're going to go with the one that is a surefire thing, and then the one reported as being potentially possible. So we're going over to the WWE Hall of Fame, as WrestleMania is just around the corner, and we know that it has been announced that Rey Mysterio Jr. is going to be inducted into this year's WWE Hall of Fame. So first of all, congratulations. What a career this man has had and a legacy he leaves behind. Going to be inducted by his good friend Conan. Again, Conan been a long ass time since he stepped foot in WWE in any capacity, but I'm glad that they're, as always, opening up the doors to someone from the past who's very, very close with the person being inducted. And I think Conan's going to give nothing but a absolute banger of a speech for his friend Rey Mysterio.
Yeah, one, like, greatest luchador of all time. I don't think we're going to see a performer quite like Rey Mysterio ever again.
No.
An absolute icon. I was very fortunate and very inspired to say that I was at that WrestleMania in 22 in Chicago to see him win his first world title. It was very eye-opening from a guy who's not a big guy, and I see someone who's just a little smaller than me. win the world title in WWE. Never thought I would ever see something like that. So someone who has been breaking barriers and just changing the perception of what a smaller athlete can do in pro wrestling, I think is amazing. You look back on some of his classic matches, whether it's with Eddie Guerrero, the Halloween Havoc, Kurt Angle at SummerSlam, or with Shawn Michaels, or with John Cena's, or with Chris Jericho, or plethora. Like, man, it's stuff with Andrade, and it's just was always good. And then he's carried this on for what, over 30, 40 years. He's wrestling since he was 15. Just incredible. It seems like he is wine, because the older he gets, the better he becomes. And then to top it off with, from what I've understood, it was his request for Conan, and that was granted. Like, an absolute amazing thing. You get to see the right thing being done here. And I can't wait, because I hope to God, just hope to God, we can at least see Max Moon one more time.
Yeah. Like it is a nice touch too, because I mean, there is people that Ray had great feuds with within the WWE that they could have gone that direction and pushed for. But again, if Ray feels personally that this is who he wants and that is the best way to go, again, I'm a big fan of Conan. I love listening to the guy. I think he does great on his podcast. I quite enjoy listening to him talk, and I think that I'd be intrigued to tune in for the purpose of seeing this induction, especially not only just because it's Rey Mysterio and because of the great things that he has left behind, being one of the great, like you said, probably the greatest luchador, but just one of the greatest guys to be able to transition, different companies all over the world. He's been a star everywhere he's gone. But I think Conan's speech is just going to be off the hook amazing. I think it's really going to get people. It's going to touch hearts. It's going to be fantastic. And then Ray's induction will be as well too. And I hope they go with the moment. I hope they don't try to do something where, Dominic tries to do something to get some heat at the show or something like that. I know it'd be easy heat to go and try to have him interrupt his dad or something, but I think that they just need to give Ray his moment, give Conan that opportunity to induct him properly, and go from there. If anything, if you're going to play on this in any way with Dominic, you do it the next night at WrestleMania when the two of them clearly are going to have some sort of collision.
It'll be very interesting to see what they do there, because it is so conflicting just from a storyline aspect. But also it's just a very heartwarming thing to see, because again, it's the right thing. Rey Mysterio deserves to be in the Hall of Fame. I don't think anyone's going to dispute that. Conan induct him just feels right. Mm-hmm. When you look at the history that these two have, like, Conan has been there almost, or if not day one, with Ray. So very, very cool to see. And if there was a time, like, Ailey, do you know when the Hall of Fame is actually taking place? Like, what the date of it is?
That is a good question. If you keep talking, I'll keep looking here right now for us.
And the reason why I bring this up is because clearly, I know there's a lot of rumors about him and wanting to end his career wrestling against his son, passing the mask off. But how apropos would it be to see this be his final appearance, and that's where he takes the mask off?
Yeah, it's fair for sure.
Like, I just think there's so much symbolism, but at the same time, like, I'm just kind of curious, because that mask is going to come into play. And I really kind of hope that they just have a charade of every single mask he has, because that would be cool.
So we're talking about Friday, March 31st, the day before night one. So it's going to take place that night. It's going to be on Peacock, probably on the network here in Canada. So,
it'll be on the network here in Canada, Peacock in the United States.
Of course, yeah, for sure. Are you gonna be tuning into the Hall of Fame, or are you taking that night off, or are you gonna watch one of the other wrestling programs that's on? What are your plans for the weekend of WrestleMania?
Hey, if I get to if I have an opportunity to do it as much as I can, I do it. But again, it all depends on the shoot life, brother. What time I get home from that 8+ hours I got to pay bills. So we'll see.
Oh, of
I mean,
course, dude. Friday's
I
are
mean,
tough
it's going to be hard pressed not to want to watch Rey Mysterio be inducted. I'm
for
already
sure.
going to say that. Like, I think that's already. I mean, we were wondering so much about who was going to be the first one inducted, who was going to be the marquee. Well, I think we got it. I think it's, like, and how cool is it that one of Triple H's first to do, his first WrestleMania, his first Hall of Fame, where he's a creative mind behind it. He picks somebody like Rey Mysterio, somebody that is not from the past. It is somebody current. It's also somebody that from the past as well. But at the same point, he goes against the grain and does something different. And in that decision making, brings back a familiar face.
Yeah.
And that is Conan, which
Yeah.
I just think is such a beautiful touch.
And again, it's not like he's bringing back somebody like in Rey Mysterio, bringing back somebody who hasn't been on for a while. As we got Carl Turnbuckle Studios, all businesses should be shut down for that entire weekend, and everyone has time off to watch it all. Dreams and goals, yeah, you bet. Friday, I mean, once I get home Friday, that's when the WrestleMania weekend begins, of course, too. So I don't know if I'm gonna maybe take in the Impact pay-per-view that night or watch the Hall of Fame, maybe pull double duty. I don't know. I might have multiple screens going up. It'll be a multiverse of screen madness here up in Castle Munson. But it's going to be a fun time nonetheless. And again,
you don't call it the Munson Mansion? Come on.
The Munson Mansion. Ooh, that's a nice touch. Money Mansion. Huh? Money Mansion. So I like the ring to that one.
Oh, you could be the mom. The Mansion of Munson.
Mansion of Munson, mom. Team mom all the way.
Well, if I'm the papa, you got to be the mama. And I got the shirt that says "Not the Mama." So,
that's it. I'm out of here. But when it comes to the Hall of Fame too, this one will be interesting to see if this is announced, and again, be very interesting if this one is the one that takes place. This is currently something that is being reported by PW Insider, and that is about one of the other possible inductees into this year's Hall of Fame. We're talking about the Great Muta. A lot of the times, the WWE does like to go outside the box, someone who didn't necessarily participate in the WWE directly, but again, the Great Muta, of course, had a run within WCW. At one point in time, held the WCW championships for a very, very small, brief moment, but also had a lot of great matches over there too. And the Great Muta has had a fantastic career all over the world. So PW Insider currently reporting that the Great Muta may be inducted into this year's WWE Hall of Fame. And you're talking about Triple H's touch on the Hall of Fame. This one would be a nice touch, at least a name that still current enough that nowadays fans have heard of him or possibly seen him, especially if they pay attention to Japanese wrestling. So not going too far back and going outside of the box with somebody that maybe not known to the current crop of fans and coming in with House of M. House of Munson. Munson Mansion, Money Mansion. Yeah, but the Great Muta possibly being inducted, I think, would be a very interesting touch. And again, I think it would be great to see the Great Muta be able to be at the Hall of Fame ceremony, see the speech and the induction that we get there over on that side of things too. And of course, you're going to have the fans just clamoring for Muta, despite the fact that he's saying he's done. They're going to want him to have a one-off match in WWE just because he's standing on that podium to accept a Hall of Fame induction.
Okay, let's go there. If he was to have a match in WWE, who is it against?
I don't know, because I don't know if it's needed. I really don't. Who do you want Muta to fight?
Well, Shinsuke, like 100% Shinsuke, or Ray. But at the same time, I kind of want to see a mist off between Muta and Asuka. That'd be hilarious.
Well, that could just happen at the ceremony itself, really. I mean, you don't have to put that in the ring.
But I mean, I think that'd be really cool to see. I really love the idea, and if that's a rumor that we are going to see happen, that's pretty cool. The Great Muta is definitely a Japanese icon in professional wrestling. Yeah, he's done a lot in the North American thing, but his name is definitely. I don't want to see Muta die, though. I just don't want to see him die.
Oh yeah, I mean, once upon a time, maybe this current Muda would be in for a total shit kicking in that situation.
Yeah, I don't want to see
Yikes.
him die. poor Muda. Hashtag poor Muda. But
That would be number one trend as soon as that bell kicked off.
yeah. But yeah, no, I mean, just the fact that we're talking Great Muda in WWE in the Hall of Fame, I think, is pretty cool. And I think that's something we can almost grow to expect now. Triple H in charge, that we're going to see a little bit more variety on who's going to be inducted. We're not going to just have that, oh, who are we going to have? We're going to have the Bella twins because we can't think of anybody relevant. We're going to put, I don't know, let's put, I don't know, like who's like, let's put Aldo Montoya in because that's something I think Vince would have probably done if he was desperate enough. But really, it's like, okay, like, or let's put in another member of the Four Horsewomen, DX, NWO for the 900th time because I lack in the creative department. But then you have Triple H, who is the man that was able to get Bruno Sammartino in the Hall of Fame. He's now bringing us Conan. He is bringing us possibly great Muda. Like, this is what I think we can learn to expect with dear
you know what? And like, sure. I think I'm not going to rape it on that at all, too. And Victor Perry joined both Ed and Astrid on taking over earlier in the year and stuff like that, too. So it would be they know him quite well and everything like that. And for all his contributions, I don't see any harm in that for the Warrior Award.
I just don't like it. If you don't watch NXT, you probably on the main roster they have no idea. That's my only thing.
Yeah.
But I don't know. That's a different award. I mean, I'd like to. I don't know. I don't know. I mean, sure.
Here's the question.
There's some awards though that I'm just like, okay, they're nice, but they're not like what I tune in for, and that's one of them. To be quite honest.
Fair. It's fair. I will ask this question though: if you're Triple H and you're going this way with the wrestlers so far, we know that they love to do the celebrity wing of the Hall of Fame. Yeah. Who do you go after for the celebrity wing of the Hall of Fame this year? If you're Triple H. Oh, do we have a run in this?
I mean, show? Before we get to that, we have to do this.
Breaking news. Something recorded.
Oh, look who it is, Carl Carafel.
I know I had too much birthday cake earlier and I had to go to the bathroom, but Busting Out now has their own version of a hot Carl. How's it going?
Yes. And he did it. Took it right the fuck off the rails. It's awesome.
Oh, guys, I'm doing good. I'm doing good.
Hot Carl.
Oh, jeez.
Only on Busted Out.
Of course.
I'll get a crappier introduction than that.
Right. And I gotta say, I love the little audio that's included with that now, with that breaking news and the please stop busting. I love that.
The please stop busting was there from the beginning. The audio, that was the first time we've heard it, and I almost played the old version because I gotta.
I saw that.
I hate clutter. I forgot to delete it.
It's all good though. We got the new one in there finally.
Yeah, that's what she said. But talking about celebrity inductions, I would kind of be okay with Lemmy going in this year, and I think that's something Triple H would do. Sense. If it's not a musical guest, and you want to do, say, like performer, you can go with anybody that's had a match. I know Ed said Bad Bunny, and then followed with an LOL.
Yeah, you better be followed by an LOL on that one.
But
I mean, I'd rather see Lawrence Taylor be picked than Bad Bunny, at least at this point in time.
Hey, man, still one of the best all-time first ever matches by a celebrity, in my opinion. But I mean, if we're gonna go there, like in terms of celebrity, then I mean, would you count Dwayne Johnson?
Well, when you want to induct him 16 times into the Hall of Fame because that's what they
No,
like to
man.
do.
Every year he's going to be coming back for one more match.
No, I think
I don't know.
I 100% agree with Lemmy personally. I think
Yeah,
Lemmy. How can you go wrong? This is the guy that Triple H should bring in celebrity wise. Carl, what are your thoughts on this?
I fully agree with that. I have no issues with Lemmy getting put in there. I mean, how much has Motorhead done for the WWE? Right,
and for Triple H.
and for
Yeah.
exactly, and
Yeah.
for Triple H, like they've been to WrestleMania, they've been live, they've so many great theme songs have come from Motorhead. It just makes sense.
Yeah.
If we're going that route, talking about people who have produced great theme songs for WWE, there's
Jim-
a Mr. Mr. Johnson that should
Yeah.
go into said Hall of Fame, the GOAT of theme songs, in my
I
opinion.
agree with that.
I'm sure two people though will be subjects in upcoming Beats and Beatdowns episodes for sure, just for their slight contributions to the business,
Oh, of course.
for sure. But yeah, Carl, what's new with you though in the world of wrestling or streaming? Or I haven't seen you for a while. What you got going on as of late?
Honestly, not very much besides shoot job. That's about it. And then Monday nights, I'm doing the watch along. Tuesdays, still doing turnbuckle talk, and that's been really about it.
Who's on board for the watch along this Monday night? Who do you got joining? Parrish, are you joining in on that one?
Once I get home, I'll be in there.
Beautiful.
And it should be Chris Best with us as well, and OMD will most likely be there as well. So we're starting to get a full house, but it's perfectly fine. We welcome anybody that wants to hop in. Always.
Numbers are always looking strong for the Raw watch-alongs. Even the after plays, like people love watching you guys on the screen. So it's been a fantastic addition to the lineup throughout the week.
And for everyone here, hold on, for everyone here with Busting Out that watches this, if you are going to watch the Monday Night Raw watch-alongs, we don't necessarily just talk Monday Night Raw. We open it up and we talk about a whole bunch of different things that sometimes aren't even professional wrestling. We just kind of come together, have fun, shoot the shit, and just enjoy everybody's company as we're all watching Monday Night Raw. It's what we do.
Well, it's the general feeling all aboard, OLE. I mean, we're always telling people to pull up a stool and join us at our local establishment.
Well, we like to refer to the watch along. It's, it's what our version of what WWE stands for. Wrestling watch along experience.
Oh, you stay up all night writing that one?
Nope. I saw it on a fortune cookie.
Friends watching wrestling. That's the FWW.
Get the F out. But yeah, no, I mean that's something like I think
it's getting bored now.
No, I want to walk with Ed. Hey.
Oh, there we go.
Yeah. But yeah, no, I mean, I think just by talking about like celebrity involvement, that's like really cool. Are there like, because I know you talked about like Lawrence Taylor.
Yeah,
I would love to see Bam Bam Bigelow in the Hall of Fame.
Oh hell yeah! He's not. That's a crime against humanity if Bam Bam Bigelow hasn't been inducted into the Hall of Fame yet. This guy is so much better than what people even credit him for and stuff like that. Like, go back and look at the size of this guy and how he maneuvers around a pro wrestling ring, the presence that he brings to that pro wrestling ring, and the fact that he worked with a lot of different people, put on a lot of different styles of matchups, and always made his opponents look good in the process as well, too. Damn, this guy, he was something else.
Yeah. But I mean, like, how nice is it now that we actually are talking about the Hall of Fame, that it is a thing? Because for a while, I mean, there hasn't been an announcement. There hasn't been a lot of traction in terms of rumors going on about what's happening. Are they doing it this year? Now, not only do we have something, but we've already started off with a bang with Rey Mysterio, Conan involving him. Great Muda possibly as a future induction. I think it's starting to shape up very well. We are now less than 4 weeks away for WrestleMania. So, yeah, it's going to be a lot of fun. And Triple H has reportedly said that he doesn't plan on having a long ceremony. He wants to tighten it up, which I think is going to be just a healthy change for the Hall of Fame. And I really hope they bring back their traditional having the Hall of Fame inductees on stage again. That was always something that I loved about it because, again, when we talked about the Iron Man match, there is always a place in my heart for honoring the people from the past. Just do it in the right way.
Right.
For sure. What are you looking forward to most with this WrestleMania, Carl? Like the entire weekend, whether WWE related, any of the companies are doing shows outside of it, just the ceremony possibly for the Hall of Fame. What's got your interest peaked the highest going into this season?
Just the entirety of it, because this is going to be brand new, yet still the same. Right. We're not really necessarily underneath a regime of Vince McMahon anymore. We're underneath a new regime that's in. So I'm interested to see how things go and how things are going to play out for this WrestleMania. Just like you said, Parrish, already, kind of talking about wanting to scale things back a little bit when it comes to production wise and when it comes to everything that's going on with the weekend. I'm interested to see how well that's going to work and how the fans are going to react to these maybe large, but maybe even subtle changes that are going to come into play. Obviously, like there are so many other companies that are doing different things during WrestleMania weekend as well. So it's going to be immensely packed full of content that's out there and going to be available. I don't know. That's the biggest thing for me when it comes to WrestleMania is I'm very interested to see what's going to happen at WrestleMania.
Yeah, and I know on Turnbuckle Talk, you had an episode, Less is More, talking all about even tightening up the schedule of WrestleMania itself. It seems like there's going to be less matches, whether that means they're going to just have longer matches or whether they're going to tighten up the show in general and not let it drag on both days. Maybe that'll add to the excitement of it as well, too, allowing the show to flow nicely. People aren't going to get too overly tired from, 2 days there. And I mean, the awareness that you've got a Friday night ceremony, you've got other companies that are going to be running shows. Wrestling fans really put in the gauntlet when it comes to WrestleMania weekend.
Yeah. I know the one thing I think I'm curious about, but I do believe that we're going to see this. I have a feeling that the true WrestleMania moments are going to be a thing again. And I think that's what I'm really hoping for because there's always something about WrestleMania that just stands out, right? Even like I go back and think Kofi Mania might have been like the last true moment and like how impactful that was. And then you look at like Sasha and Sasha and Bianca. That was pretty cool seeing the two African women main event of WrestleMania. And then before that with the triple threat was very impactful. I mean, but those are moments that stood outside. Like those are moments I think that are great for wrestling, but really have more outside impact. I really want to see some true professional wrestling moments, whether it's great stories, whether it's Cody Rhodes dethroning Roman Reigns, whether it's Sheamus winning the Intercontinental Championship or something along those lines. Man, like I just want to be able to just, be a kid again watching WrestleMania.
Yeah.
Mm-hmm.
Yeah.
Because God knows, have we said already that I'm not mature, so...
That was very apparent earlier on when we were talking about.
Hey, I'm mature. Foods. I just break up the word immature. So when there's those two M's, I just put it I just slice it, and then it says I'm mature.
Parrish, you just have bangers and mash on your mind all the time.
Bangers and what?
Bangers and mash. Bangers and mash.
And that's going straight out to Astrid right now. If you were watching this, stop and go and enjoy yourself. We love you, Parrish. But enjoy yourself.
I was just going to say, go out there, find a beetle, and squash it, and say the monkeys are better. And then just see what happens. Just see what happens. Hey, it's a lot better than what I said in Slack, all right?
Oh, I mean, you're always borderline. You always just, just tease it a little.
I don't like the rated PG-13. I'd rather just be rated M.
That's fair. So, gentlemen, what else? Anything else we want to talk about here? If we got a little bit of time, if we want, or is it time to just plug where we're going to be?
I mean, one thing I did want to say, because I thought this was very interesting, we had, I don't know if you guys are like watching the like Raw and SmackDown, but we're seeing Cody Rhodes kind of team up with Sammy a little bit throughout this week, and that was a good little thing. Not Kevin Owens, but what we did see on the internet was that there was a backstage confrontation or conversation with Cody Rhodes and Kevin Owens, and the narrative looks like it's Cody Rhodes trying to talk some sense into KO about helping out Sami Zayn. So it's very interesting. I know a lot of people know where the story is going to go, but I really also love the fact that there is just the small things being addressed in this story, that it's just not the bloodline that's getting all the details in their story making, even though we had Jay finally make his decision on whether or not he's with Sammy or the bloodline. I'm liking that in order to get past the bloodline, you also need to have that same story. I thought WWE has been doing very well with the is it Sammy, is it Cody narrative and storyline. And now they said, why not both? And they're doing it in a very smart way. And I think that's just amazing work by WWE right now.
Just too bad they didn't have this served up on a platter for War Games, because this is how you build a War Games matchup right here. But they have done it brilliantly, and it makes a lot of intrigue, not only for the main event, but for the potential tag team title match with the Usos, KO, and Sami Zayn as well, too.
And it really puts out that one idea that I had a while back, and I think I first said it on a watch-along. I hope to God that last SmackDown right before Mania, we have a six-man, and it is the Usos and Roman versus Cody, KO, and Sammy. Mm-hmm. And that is the first time that we see some crack in the armor, and Cody picks up a tag team pinfall over Roman Reigns to foreshadow what we're seeing at WrestleMania.
Yeah, 100% agree. But gentlemen, I think it's that time of the day. We'll probably wrap things up here on Bustin' Out. It's been a fantastic show as always. Anybody who's tuning in on YouTube, stay tuned, because we're going to give some farewells, and then we're going to give you an outro. In the meantime and in between time, I know Chris Parrish is searching for somebody to raid here over on Twitch. But while we do that, Carl, why don't you let the good people know where are they going to be able to find you this week and where they could reach you, like the ticker says down below, that link tree thing you got going down.
I definitely have that Linktree thing going on there. linktr.ee/Carl Carafel is where you can find all the socials for myself, as well as Turnbuckle Studios, which is kind of where I have all of my stuff as well, with everything here on our local establishment. Mondays, you can catch me starting at 8 p.m. with the Monday Night Raw watch along with whoever. A plethora of guests. Lately, it has definitely been Parrish when he is off of work. It has been Chris Best, who has been, a standard bearer when it comes to this program with me, as well as OMD is starting to come in and join us too. Tomorrow night or Tuesday night, I'm going to be having Turnbuckle Talk. I don't have a lot of options right now as to kind of what I'm going to talk about, but definitely later today, I'm going to get everything all situated, set, and sorted, get a graphic made up, hopefully, and be able to put it out there for everybody to see beforehand.
Beautiful, beautiful. And again, if you check out the ticker below, that is actually our information here at our local establishment. But I'll click the right button this time for myself, where you can go ahead and follow and check things out. Of course, I had to have a blunder eventually. I mean, hold on. It deserves one of these, because when I screw things up now,
Bobby, don't be so hard on yourself. This is a consistent issue.
I know it's a consistent issue, but again, when we have these problems,
this is your gimmick. It's not a mistake. It's your gimmick.
We have to go to this one right here. That's where you can check me out. You can also find me on a plethora of shows as well too. Again, Thursday night. Yeah, I heard said earlier. Ring Respect Radio. We're going to be joining the studio starting a little bit early that night, where we're going to have Joseph Sam IL joining myself and Papa Smokes there. So get your questions in. Join us in a live capacity, live and interactive there. And again, Busting Out next Sunday is going to be another great episode. You can check out different episodes of the Bravado, always releasing on OLE as I review things, all things pop culture, movies, television, music as well too. And Carl, we'll get back to things on the music side too. We got some talks in place there, a new show in mind. We want to get back to rock and roll with the fans, so that's going to be coming up soon. And Parrish, before we raid out, where can the people find you?
Well, you can follow me on the Instagram at Chris.Parrish, the Twitter at Chris Parrish, Twitch at the Chris Parrish, and YouTube at Chris Parrish. And as we see that Ed is talking about WWE 2K23, I have decided to try somebody new, and the name is Nico Vibes with a Z at the end. He is playing some WWE 2K22, and what better way to look forward to WWE 2K23 than by a little bit of 2K22. So go check him out. Give him the love and support you've shown us. Call that the OLE way, and we'll be rating him very shortly. So if you're on the Twitch, you'll be directed to Nico Vibes. But if you're staying with us on the YouTube, we will be closing out this show as per normal.
And just for everybody, make sure Monday that you're checking out Paramindful, as we're going to be having a Paramindful EVP from Alex coming up for you before we bring out our special that we're going to be doing for the 18th for St. Patrick's Day.
I think I was instructed to release that on Twitch for the actual St. Patrick's Day. In fact, too, was the instruction from Mel Ball. So again,
perfect.
You'll check out the fellow K-Fableman Papa Smokes. My man, we're just heading on out. We're raiding out, and we are going to be ending things here on Busting Out. It's been a great show, gentlemen. Carl, thank you for joining myself and Parrish on screen. Always fantastic having you here with us. Parrish, are we raiding out yet?
We've
raided out. So with that being said, thank you for tuning in, and we will see you guys next Sunday. Busting Out. Take care, everybody.